Hello, everyone. Welcome to our newest exit interview. I'm here with the one, the only Johnny Stockton, as he's here about has it been 3 days since your eviction? I don't even know.
I got evicted on Friday, and it's Monday night. So yeah.
All right.
I forget about the game as much as I could.
You've had the most time in between being evicted and the exit interview so far. So you've had the most time to reflect. So I expect the best answers that I could get from someone.
You'll probably get them.
And nothing in between is all I'm saying. So you better come through. Johnny, you were evicted on our second live night of the entire season, the first fast forward night that we had. How are you feeling just 3 days after? How was that whole night? How did it operate for you? Because it was not easy. You got the back door, which also happened in our last season during the fast forward for someone, except during that fast forward, the person came right back in because they unlocked the padlock and picked the right key to come back in the game. You did not, but you were fairly close to unlocking the padlock, I would say.
I was 30 seconds too short.
Walk me through the night, because it was eventful. Or I guess specifically walk me through that last hour in the game where you didn't really have a lot of time to react. Tell me about your messages, specifically with Malcolm, who is the HOH, and everyone else. Just kind of walk me through that whole process. How did it go down?
Yeah, I mean, it was one big old blindside. Like, there was nothing else to it. Even when I got put up, I knew I was toast. I was so shocked and frazzled that I couldn't even think of the things to say. Like, I wish I could have even gone to and I thought of this like a day later, so I can't even say like it's something I would have done, but I could have even messaged Patrick, been like, bro, whatever you're doing right now is a big mistake. You know I would never evict you. You are my absolute number one. I don't know how, I understand I've left you out of stuff, because he was asking me what after I got put up about the replacement. He's like, what could that power have been? As if he totally didn't know what it was. And I was like, I guess it's the padlock. And he's like, you guess or you know? And at that point, I was like, okay. I was like, he knows that I did it behind his back, which I did. And I think I was pretty much being set up since Wednesday when Jess got evicted. And I made the decision that I did. I guess honestly a really dumb move. But what happened in that hour? I was convinced the entire time that we were just doing what we could to get through the night and get rid of Gigi. There was a chat that I had with Francisco, Andrew, and Patrick that I had wanted for a long time. I think the four of us could have ran to the end of the game. Obviously, they didn't want that with me. But I was under the assumption the entire time that we were just getting rid of Gigi, no matter what. Obviously, there was a bigger plan in play. I'm still pretty unaware as to who was involved. I know for certain it was Malcolm, Patrick, and Andrew. I'm not sure if Francisco knew about it or not. I'm sure I'll find out in the goodbye messages. But the whole hour was just them lying to me. I was fucking around. Honestly, that veto competition took forever. So I was just messaging around oh my God, this is going forever, blah, blah, blah. We're still whatever, down to get rid of Gigi, whatever it was. I asked Malcolm, I was like, do you want me to do anything? Do you need my help with what you're trying to execute? And he was like, oh, if you and veto, just don't use it. And I was like, okay, word. And I really didn't see it coming until when the padlock, literally the second Dustin was like, I have an announcement to make, the padlock, blah, 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 or whatever he said, the special power. I knew it was me. I knew. I didn't. You could have asked me in the moment, be like, pause, Johnny, what do you think is about to happen? I would have been like, I'm going up and I'm out. There's no way. Especially because of the way the padlock went down, which I'm sure we will get into. But that whole hour for me was relatively calm until the 90 seconds I had before I got evicted. I didn't see it coming, and I didn't have any time to rebound whatsoever.
You brought up the padlock. Obviously, this is going to be a big talking point just in your last 48 hours or so in the game. Because really those last couple of days were jam-packed with padlock talk. You got to, get Jessica out of the game, and then you're out of the game. It was so many events happening at once. Probably the most jam-packed few days we've ever had in this game. Just watching everything play out at such, at the last second before everything like that happened. So let's walk through your call with Malcolm and Lana, because it was a very interesting way that this all played out. Tell me a little bit about what went down, and kind of how you viewed the situation after it was revealed that someone had obtained the secret passageway before you.
Yeah, so what I was thinking going into including Malcolm and Lana was two things. One, I knew I needed Lana regardless, because I was not going to be able to get Francisco's info. I wasn't going to be able to get I forget who else, Gigi's info. So like I knew I needed Lana. And also Malcolm's info wasn't out there either. So like I needed Malcolm to be included in on the discussion. This is actually something I came up with the day Anwar got evicted. I called I called Malcolm and Lana individually. I was like, hey, I got this idea. I was like, I think we could get pretty close as a trio to opening the padlock. And my legitimate thought was, cool, I have this final two with Patrick. I have a final two with Andrew. I didn't think they were as together as they were, because Patrick was always telling me about how he didn't want to take Andrew much farther. Andrew was also telling me that he didn't want to include Patrick in that 4-person alliance because he wanted him out ASAP. So like, I really didn't think they were together. So I thought I had that balanced really well. Obviously they compared notes at some point because they both found out about my final two, definitely. But my plan was, in case Patrick or Andrew wanted to take a stab at Malcolm or Lana, I would have been able to get the padlock for the three of us, make a counter strike, and it would have looked good for me and my game. And I was thinking like final 7, final 6, they try to do something and I'm able to protect Malcolm and Lana, keep all of us in the game, and have numbers with that group in case Patrick or Andrew tried to do something else, because I knew how good of players they were. I knew Andrew also was just never 100% with me, even from the jump. Like I was hearing about how hard he was like playing and doing well and like all these things. And even though people were talking about how under the radar he was, I knew how good of a player he was. So the fact that I had a final two with him and he really wasn't communicating that much with me at all gave me a lot of warning signs that he wasn't with me in general. So I was trying to prepare for that counter strike. And then Malcolm made a counter strike of his own. And I'm still at this point assuming it was Malcolm, but I'm about 99.99% chance Malcolm took it 30 seconds before I did. And on that call with Malcolm and Lana, back to your initial question, I know I could go for hours.
I don't care.
This could go for 2 hours long. I was talking with Malcolm and Lana, and I was like, which of us wants to open it? Because I didn't have to be the one to open it. Like that wasn't my point of getting the padlock, was not to get an individual advantage in the game. I honestly believed I was set up better than Malcolm and Lana. And I felt dirty about the fact that I was dirty dealing and that they would have been the ones to get screwed. And I was really preaching final 3 with them the whole time. So I would have let either of them have it. Granted, maybe not Malcolm today. But I would have definitely let Lana have it for sure. And Lana and I put in all of the work, like literally all the work to get everyone's info. Malcolm got nobody in the grand scheme of things, literally got nobody. And then he took the padlock and used it to his advantage, which good for him. It's a good move. Honestly, a great move, actually. Like, I don't want to like say, oh, it's a great move because he got me up, blah, blah, blah. But like stealing the padlock from me, clearly playing me that entire time. They definitely came up with a plan before live night to take me out. So like the fact that all of that was done behind my back is like really impressive. And Malcolm had to have been the catalyst for that because he was the one with the padlock. And I feel like he had to have told people about the padlock beforehand, because Patrick was like, you think it's the padlock or you know it's the padlock? So like, I know there was some kind of conversation that happened there between either Malcolm, Andrew, Patrick, or Malcolm, Andrew, Patrick, and Francisco. And they all decided that they were going to take me out because I had used the padlock and they wanted to use it against me, because I had obviously kept them all out of the loop on it. But for me, it was a team thing with Malcolm and Lana. I just wanted one of us to have it. That was clearly my mistake.
You will get a lot of clarity as to what went down on the live night in your goodbye messages. I have watched them. You will watch them. But I don't know if you'll get all the clarity that you want in terms of the padlock situation or anything like that.
For sure.
But transitioning to the eviction again, your main point of preaching was always going to be, you can't keep Gigi in the game. Let's talk about Gigi for a second, because I think Gigi is a really interesting player right now in terms of that she's still there. And that was kind of your point, is that if you sit next to Gigi at this point, you're automatically going to be going home. Expand a little bit on that. What do you think, where do you think the road leads for Gigi at this point, now that she's survived, 3 rounds into jury, being put on the block time and time again, and not being evicted.
I mean, honestly, if she ends up in the finals, I'd be pretty surprised. It was my personal goal for that night to get rid of Gigi. So that's why I was able to preach it so hard. It's because it's exactly what I had told everybody. And in my final plea, it was just catering to as many people as possible whose votes I thought I needed. There was not much more I could say in that situation regardless, except maybe striking a nerve. And I was like, what can I say to strike a nerve at this point? And I just wasn't thinking. I was literally sitting there so frazzled when I got put up on the block. And I was trying to message people. Duncan was like, I can't vote. So I left him alone. Lana was like, you have my vote. So I left her alone. Francisco told me I had his vote. I'm not sure if he's lying to me or not, because I know he told Jess the same thing. So in terms of Gigi, I don't know. She obviously can't win the game. Like, there's, in my opinion, literally nothing she could do from here on out to win the game. She just hasn't put in the time, even close to the amount of time that anyone else has. I think it's something we all kind of acknowledged. I'm not even trying to I know she's doing stuff, but there's no way. She counted me and Lana as her two closest allies, and she never talked to me. So how is that a game? So where does Gigi's path go? I don't know, because I don't think I know the dynamics of the people that are left as well as I thought I did. I believe if there are people who are if Patrick, Francisco, and Andrew are so deathly loyal to each other, which is a very big possibility, then they'll evict Gigi because they want to keep each other around. But if people want to keep using Gigi to make a move, Gigi could get 5th, 4th, or 3rd in this thing, and a big move might happen again this week. It really depends who the replacement nominee is tomorrow, because I already know Duncan won veto. Let's fucking go, Duncan. So I don't know. She's probably the person I really give the least fuck about at this point in terms of where she goes from here, because she's not getting my vote in any circumstance. And I don't think she can articulate moves that she made, because the round that she was HOH, a lot of stuff happened, but it was just because other people were convincing her to do things with information she was not privy to. So, not to slam on Gigi, but
Okay.
Yeah.
You can slam on whoever you want. I don't care.
I don't have much to say about her. She just hasn't put in the time. I'm sorry. If I was playing a mini every night, I probably wouldn't be able to put in the time either. But if you're going to spend 6 hours of your day every day talking to people in a game for nothing, opposed to talking to us, who we've been in a game for 40 days now, and we're on calls every night, how do you expect to get any traction there? I don't know what's going through her head. Where does she think she's going here? But whatever.
I feel like this is probably the best time to show you goodbye messages, because I feel like you still have a lot of confusion, and I think these goodbye messages will help you out a lot, and it'll probably enhance this interview a lot more once you probably know a little bit more of what happened. So we're gonna go ahead and watch these. And we still have plenty of questions from that the production members sent in that they want me to ask you as well. So we'll just get through these first.
I'm excited.
Hi, Johnny. Sorry this is late. I just wanted to say that I was completely blindsided and I had no idea what was happening yesterday. I learned that Malcolm had unlocked the padlock, and you were scheming around a little bit. So he was wanting to get you out, with different group chats and stuff, with you, Lana, and Jordan, and you, Fran, Andrew, and Pat, trying to survive and get Gigi out. That was your goal, which is fine, that's fine. But Malcolm said enough, and it worked out in my favor, but I'm sorry that it didn't work out in yours. I think you're a fierce person. I hope that you're doing okay. If I don't get evicted before Christmas is not you. Well, I just hope that you have a good time until I see you again. Hopefully it's not too soon. I'm sorry shit didn't work out for you. Bye, Johnny. Hopefully it can last long. Okay, bye.
Hey, Johnny. When I tell you that I was just as surprised as you were, I'm not even lying. Did not expect that to happen. However, had I known that there was a plan underway, I probably would have taken part in it. After hearing what I've heard and all the connections you have and how close you were to Lana and Malcolm, it sounded like you had a really good grasp on this game. And this past week has brought a lot of things to light, and I've been deflecting a lot of stuff back onto you because I'm trying to get out from underneath that big Greyhound bus you put on top of me. But aside from that, It has been an awesome time getting to know you. Everything that we've talked about and all of our conversations have been 100% genuine, and I've really enjoyed getting to play this game with you and getting to meet you. And I hope that sometime, since we're so close to each other in the city, we can meet up and have a drink and shoot the shit. I gotta go get my food. I'll talk to you later. Catch you on the flip side. Probably, hopefully not sooner than later.
Hey, Johnny. I was pretty shocked that it ended up being you. I was pretty shocked at the fact that you wanted me out. And I do kind of get why you wanted me out, but still, I truly thought that we were working together. So, you know what? It is what it is. And I'm actually glad to see you go, because if you had won, you were coming after me next. And it would have been a total blindside. So, you know what? Good luck. And hopefully maybe we can work in another game together and
One of those biddies, right?
make some moves and truly, you know, be together.
Dude, if you just put in more time, I would work with you.
So
come on now.
Have a good one. Hope to not see you soon. Toodles.
Hey, Johnny. This is a shock. I didn't see it coming. I didn't know it was happening. It was before I realized what was happening, it was way too late. This sucks. I really was going to work with you towards the end, even though now, after you're gone, I'm finding out all the information that maybe I was or wasn't your number one. I don't know. Only you know that. But so many other people felt like they were your number one. So I don't know. I'm still stunned, so I'm at a loss for words. So just know I voted to keep you, like I promised, because that's the kind of player I am. So bye, Johnny.
Johnny boy, you have been a brother to me in this game. From the moment the round that Jordan and I were up together, that we had the conversation about going to the end together, sharing everything and truly being the duo of the season, I could not have been more invested. And I was from that moment forward until about 2 days ago when I realized that you were not doing the same for me. I can get past holding back information about chats and alliances and things like that, but the blatant lies about the padlock were the last straw for me. Promising to never share my information and then learning that an hour before you had used it to work with other people to get into the padlock while lying to me about it all throughout. After we had been literally talking about getting into it together since like week 2. It was at that moment that I realized that I needed to flip the script and reset this game. And I'm sorry. I really do, care so much about you, and I can't wait to see you soon. And I hope you can respect the game.
Hey, Johnny. Unfortunately, you were evicted. And unfortunately, I did play a part in it. I hope you don't take it personally. There was a lot of information I was presented with that made me question our final 2 a little bit. I learned about the sequester chat. I learned that you used my piece to help find the padlock. I knew you had a final 2 with Patrick. And you were just good with everybody in the house. You controlled a lot of votes. So it was just strictly a game move. You were in an amazing position. You were literally slaying everybody. And that's why I hope you respect the move. It was hard to do because obviously you were my final 2. But I had to make a hard decision because I thought it was best for my game. But yeah, I can't wait to talk to you after, and no hard feelings, hopefully.
Johnny, I know that this was a very, very hard night for you. But I hope you understand that all of this was just a testament as to how strong of a game that you were playing. You had everyone connected with you, everyone enjoying you. But I recognized at the end of the day that I don't think I was ever your number one, because you never collaborated with me on votes. You just kind of told me that this was kind of the idea, very last minute. And I knew that if I ever wanted a chance to try and win, I needed to ensure you didn't get the padlock. So I did have it the whole time. And I needed to make sure that you felt comfortable so that you didn't try anything crazy or different. Again, you're such a good player. I see why everyone gravitates towards you with your amazing personality and stories, why you're such an icon in the sequester community. And I hope that you see this as like a big game move and just, again, a true testament as to how well you were playing. I hope you enjoyed your time playing Padlock. You are a true king, a true icon, and I hope to see you soon, but not too soon. I am trying to win here. Bye.
Thoughts? Let me unmute myself.
My read on the situation was correct. I don't think I was missing anything. I'm happy to know, in a sense, that Francisco was excluded from it, but I also wish he was included on it because I want to be like a little bit more impressed with what he's doing. Like, I really wish he had that on his resume, especially because he's like one of the last like 2 people that haven't been nominated, I think, him and Lana. Like Lana, Lana goes up tomorrow maybe, but it was what I expected. I guess Malcolm was the one that really, really pulled it off. Like Andrew and Patrick are both saying, after learning this and after learning this and after learning that, they decided to do what they did. So I do feel like Malcolm definitely threw that together. And good for him. I definitely respect the move. I mean, I don't see someone topping that move just because there was an advantage involved and it was a live night and like it was a big blindside, like all of those things being pieced together. Like I feel like it kind of was the move of the season, give or take. I don't want to. There's a lot left. There's a ton left. But so far it was a huge move that like I have to give him credit for. I don't really respect Patrick's goodbye, nor do I really think it's like, I don't know, like he plays martyr. Like that's all he's doing is like, I feel like he's playing martyr. And Jess and I have talked about in the jury chat that like, he just makes sure he has deals with everyone, which I don't think he has a deal with Duncan, Gigi, or Lana, but like, I don't know. I wish I got more from Patrick's goodbye. But besides that, I don't really care. Patrick also just like, Social Tact 101 just basically blamed it all on me, which you can. But if I'm evicted and you're in the finals, I don't think you want your goodbye message just be blaming me. Like I would have done this if you didn't do this. Like, all right, buddy, like relax. I'm sure he has another final 2 out there somewhere.
Who knows? Who knows?
You know.
Oh, I totally had a question. Okay. So Malcolm having the padlock and having the HOH during this fast forward, do you still see that as a good move while having safety, but still flushing that power and making that move? Do you think there's a better way he could have, I don't know, had the power, of the fast forward and also saved his advantage, his secret passageway for a different round?
Who won the veto? Francisco?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess there wasn't really, I mean, like, if I had the padlock, I would have used it defensively. I think he used it offensively. And he used it offensively in a way that hopefully gained him some end game allies. Because from my perspective, Patrick and him were working together on a loose string. Andrew and Malcolm had a loose relationship. Malcolm also didn't feel that great with any combination of Duncan or Francisco. So like, I don't know what his next move is because like, yeah, like if I'm Malcolm, I'm probably trying to use the padlock to make a big move as well. I genuinely feel like I would have done almost whatever I could to have not gotten him evicted if he was on the block. That was a big part of my game, was proving to others that I was loyal to them and not giving people a reason to believe I wasn't loyal to them, which is basically why I threw almost every competition I played in. But like, I feel like I was giving Malcolm reasons. He's right. I definitely more so told him things than collaborated, but Malcolm didn't have the social collateral for me to be able to collaborate with him with others. And one of my biggest strategies was pulling people into little groups and being like, hey, like if you like Malcolm and I like Malcolm, oh cool, then let's like loop in Malcolm on this. And like that's like little stuff that just makes other people feel confident. It's like a big like sequester mini strategy, honestly.
Right.
But you can't do that in a long-term game. And I know how badly I screwed myself. Like I really believe that Malcolm played this brilliantly and I had one of the biggest blunders for what I believe was 40 days of like really solid gameplay. I realized the fact that I sprinted for the Padlock for reasons that were like so hypothetical, like, oh, if Malcolm and Lana get targeted, I wouldn't have the Padlock to save them. Or the fact that I evicted Jess and left literally 2/3, if you're including Malcolm, of my closest allies out of the loop. And then I feel like the damage control was not good. I'm not great with damage control. If I do something like that, I'm just like, this is why I did it. And like, I don't really care to think about what they're thinking. I'm just like trying to explain myself. Which is just because I say this all the time, they don't believe it, but like, I'm so dumb. Like, I really am. Like, I have very one-dimensional, two-dimensional strategy. I try to play people. Like, that's something I'll always do. Like, I'll be a snake in that sense, but I can't come up with these mastermind schemes. Or maybe I can, and I'm just underselling myself.
I think you definitely are underselling yourself. I think you definitely have a lot more than just one dimension to your gameplay, Johnny. Let's be real.
Fair. Yeah, I'm not in the house anymore. I guess I don't have to undersell myself much.
You don't. But I mean, even though, and this relates to a question that Brett wanted me to ask you, you would oftentimes mention to people that you thrive in chaos, and production teams like you because you aren't afraid to shake things up and backstab your allies for fun. So Brett's question is, why would you tell anyone that?
Because I'm messy and I don't care. Like, I really, like, I say it in every game I play. Like, yeah, I'm a little triggered what happened to me. This was my first org in a while, but like when I was playing orgs like off the rip, like I would like sign up. Like, I never cared how I placed. I wanted to force a fun atmosphere that would cause me to get cast in the future. And yeah, he's right. I will make final twos with people and prioritize them in my game, but also not really like total, like I take them seriously. Like, I don't believe I would have backstabbed Patrick, Andrew, or Lana until the final four. But also having a final two / you're my number one with like all of them makes it like a little messy. I also had one with Jordan at one point and then exchanged my final two with Jordan for a final two with Patrick. Because I didn't feel like at the time my final two with Andrew was strong enough and I thought he was going to go like pretty quickly, which honestly, if I let Andrew go week 3, that could have been better for my game. But that's like super hard to harp back on. That was also one of my best moves, I feel like. So why did I tell people? Because I don't care. Like, I am very authentic. I don't know how to hide it. I don't necessarily think about what I'm saying before I say it, and I kind of just say it. And I knew as I was playing that telling people stuff like this was insanely dumb to do. But I did it anyways because I don't know.
Because you don't care. That's really the summation of it, which is fine.
Like, I think like I see more pros in like being evicted from the game than most people do. Like, most people like really only see the losses and they feel the losses and whatever. Like, when I play these orgs, like, I'm not even trying to like say this about myself, but like I have so much going on in my life and like so many people I neglect on a day-to-day basis because I play these orgs, and like I neglected my job and I neglected my relationships like in life and like family time and like being able to hang out with my friends, and like I skipped so many Saturdays of like seeing people and keeping up my friendships, and like those are the things that, so like when I go into orgs, I also try to find, and I did this when I played Sequester Minis, is I try to just find the other half of things. Like, okay, if I get eliminated early, I'm going to go have a fat joint rolled in my bedroom. I'll go smoke it outside when I get eliminated. And that'll be my win condition for the night. So I always look for my win condition, and my win condition is just telling myself I don't care. Because there's so many other things in life that I should be caring about. And this is more so supposed to be for fun, because how often can you play a game like this in such a high stakes situation with literally no money on the line? Because if there was money on the line, I'd do fucking anything for money. And I did anything in this game, period, just to win. So let alone the fact that, I don't know, I'm loyal, but I also didn't know any of these people. Like, I really, like, if I, like, when I was playing in Sequester or I was playing in other orgs and, like, I knew the people before I played, I would find it very hard to eliminate some of them. This was a really rare opportunity for me where probably for the first time ever, I had never played with anyone in the cast. So, like, I wanted to go all out. I noticed that like the second the game started, I was expecting to have like Lana was a familiar face and Duncan was even somewhat of a familiar face, but like I had never played with them before. So the fact that I got to play with all new people, I just didn't care. I wanted to like do whatever I could to just be snaky and just like do my thing because I know that's where I thrive. I thrive in chaos, and I tried to form a chaotic atmosphere as much as I could.
Well, as chaotic as you were, I think every player is going to have things that they would love to change. And you've already talked about a few things that you would probably change just about the game that you played. So we're going to try to just summarize this into one thing. This question comes from Dustin. If you were to get in a time machine and go back to day one of this entire season, what would you do differently? Let's summarize it to one thing. What would you do differently if you could just change one thing, go back to day one?
Like on day one, if I could change something?
No, I mean just going back to day one and working your way forward. You don't have to specifically.
The one thing I would change is it's close between pursuing opening the padlock and evicting Jess. I think pursuing opening the padlock was not necessary for the position I was in. I got so greedy. I think I was in one of the best positions in the house, and if Malcolm wasn't able to use that as a weapon to get my two closest allies to not trust me, then there's a very good chance I'm still in the game. And I didn't have to be selfish with it at all. And I didn't need it. Like, I really didn't. I just wanted to have it because the chaos thing. And then the other evicting Jess, I think it's just how I evicted Jess. I wish that night wasn't live. Because if it was, I would have had so much more time to just explain. Like the Amanda eviction, I think I really thrived off of being live. The Jessica eviction, I didn't. And if I was able to talk to Patrick and Andrew and they were both like, I don't want Jess to go, there's a very good chance I flip my vote and let Duncan leave. And with that being said, I would have had a trio with Patrick and Jess. I would have had my thing with Malcolm and Lana where I wouldn't have had to try so hard with the padlock and my other relationships to try to counteract like the future. And it was such a crazy mishmash of things I really did in literally the last 3 days I was in the game that absolutely fucked me.
I feel like in a lot of your DRs, you kind of hit the point that you get really well set up in games like this, but then you hinder yourself by doing something horrible. I feel like you did that and you foreshadowed kind of your downfall in this game in like a really weird way. Would you say that's your biggest, like, I'll say downfall just in games like this is that you thrive on things being chaotic more than you thrive on things being like actual long-term game moves that you need to make?
I thrive on chaos more than I think of like actually getting to the end. And I believe one of my biggest strengths and why I'm so good at these games, my self-awareness, and I'm not even trying to like talk like this, my self-awareness is better than literally anybody I know. I feel like I could read people really well. Obviously, when you get blindsided in a game, you can't read people like that. They're lying to your fucking face. And I knew Malcolm had the padlock from the second he took it from me. And I accused him of it. And he still, of course, like, was like, oh, no, it wasn't me. Like, I read that situation well, too. I don't think there was a single situation in this game that I didn't read well. And I think it's just because I have that, like, awareness of other people, and I think my EQ is so high. And, like, that's why I'm good at these games. But, yeah, I foreshadowed it, and I did it to myself. And every game I play, I do it to myself. And I think it's because I feel like and I do it in sequester minis, too. I feel like I have the most social capital and I could just do whatever the fuck I want. And I could plan these 4D chess moves that are literally 8 moves ahead that are so unnecessary. Like I get to the end game in sequester every time and I get so confident because I know every time I get to the end game, I'm the biggest player there. And I just talk like I am the biggest player there. And then I get dragged every single time at the final 3. And I got dragged at the final 3 games in a row. So like, it's stuff like that like I self-sabotage myself at every corner. And it's something I do in life too, honestly. And I can't explain it. I really can't. But I definitely foreshadowed it because I knew it was going to happen. And I knew for sure when I get taken out of games, it's always a big move that has to be played to get me out every time. Like literally every time. People have to be left out of it. I played for my first time in 6 years of org experience. I got evicted on a unanimous vote in a Survivor game in my last org I played. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. It's never even been close to unanimous. I have like the pseudo unanimous votes where it's like a 3-2-2-1 or like a 3-2-1. Like it's never actually the majority that takes me out. It's like an idol or something stupid. And like this was one of those situations where like people, it's so hard to take me out. And people were telling me that at a certain point, like when Jordan was on the block, they were like Patrick was telling me that people were talking about how it's going to be so hard to take me out of the game. And it took something like this to take me out. I think if I didn't pursue the padlock, I don't think I had the numbers to get evicted. I don't think Duncan or Francisco or Lana. And if I didn't pursue the padlock, Patrick and Andrew would have evicted me. So self-sabotage for sure.
It's okay. It happens. But
it's what makes me exciting to cast.
Wow. Okay. Andy's humble, everyone.
I'm the opposite of humble. My ego is through the roof.
It's okay. I wouldn't have you any other way.
Of course.
Cody wants to know, do you feel that you played this game like a sequester mini? I know you've already kind of said that you did in some aspects, but kind of build upon that a little bit more. Just comparing. Well, I mean, you're comparing like a 5-hour, 4-hour game to a 71-day game, which is not comparable at all usually. But I feel like in a lot of ways you did play similarly. So can you kind of expand upon that?
Yeah. I just don't know how to get into a one-on-one situation anymore and not make people feel 100% confident. I don't know how to do it. Even in my conversations with Francisco, I was like, all right, Johnny, I would joke with myself. I'm like, you're going to go into this call with Francisco and not promise him a deal because I had deals with everybody. And when you play sequester, that's all you do because people don't have time to compare notes. So in this game, obviously people had time to compare notes, but I wanted to be good with everybody. That's how I do well in my games. And honestly, I did it before I played sequester. It's what made me so good at sequester. So yeah, to answer it shortly, yes, I did play this almost exactly like a sequester mini, and I typically blow myself up in the end game of every sequester mini that I play. So here we go.
Mark wanted me to ask you who your favorite prod member was, but I don't feel like making that an official question, but you can answer it if you want.
It has to be Barrett. Come on now.
That's a good answer. I like that guy too. The jury didn't, but I do.
Hey, listen, you don't have to tell anyone, but let's final two this up right here, me and you.
Shut up. Everyone in this room. I like everyone in this room.
All stars. We got it.
Yeah. He also wants to know, has CLC been in your thoughts and prayers?
So much so that I even DM'd him in the middle of the game and asked for his padlock info. I went behind production's back. I was like, hey, are you allowed to give it to me? And he was like, no, I don't have it. And I was like, damn. But yeah, CLC in my thoughts every day. Honestly, I wish that's my biggest problem with production. It had nothing to do with the fake padlock thing. It had nothing to do with the stupid live evictions. It had everything to do with the fact that they didn't let CLC be an actual player. Because if he was, I would have killed it with him because he's chaotic. I would have fed him up. I would have fed him up the whole fucking time. I would have been like, me and you, let's go. Of course, like I did with everyone else, but he would have been the more chaotic version of me, so he could get evicted at this point, and then I still have room to go. The problem is there was no one in this game as chaotic as I was. I feel like. Obviously there are. These guys are chaotic, very good game players. They could flip on a dime. But I wanted someone that chaotic with me. And I know that was a fake question, but I still had a lot to say about it.
You did. I mean, in fun fact, both C's and CLC both stand for chaos. So I mean, you're correct. He would have definitely brought the heat. He brought the heat for 30 something days last season too.
I believe.
Don't make me remember.
No, I won't. No PTSD.
It's coming back. I guess the last couple of questions I want to ask you, since we've gone on for forever and a day, is, this is weird because you now know who has won the veto and we're that far into the week. But if you had your own pick, who would you want in the jury house versus who do you think is going to join you in the jury house on at the next eviction?
Oh. My absolute number one choice, I would have loved to see Patrick follow out right behind me. Mm-hmm. That's obviously not happening because he got HOH. I'm probably most pulling for Lana and Duncan. If one of them makes it there, I'll probably vote for them. I don't really want to talk to Malcolm anytime soon. So like if he stays in the game longer, that's fine with me. Even though it was a good game move, I think he was so fake the whole fucking time that I just like I don't care for him. Yeah, so the person I'd want to see come in next, which won't happen, is Patrick. The people who I would love to see get farther and farther is Duncan and Lana.
You want to see Duncan and Lana get further, but who do you think is going to be sitting there at the end? Like, if you just had to make your guess based on what you know are the dynamics, what would you say?
I would throw money down that Francisco will be there with either Andrew, Duncan, or Lana. That's what I think.
Okay.
But I think Francisco is going to have one of those spots. Who's evicting Francisco? No one. Literally no one. He is playing so well. He's playing so well. So that would be my prediction, probably. I don't see a world where Patrick can make it there. I think his target's too big. I kind of see a world where Andrew gets cut as well, especially because of the amount of people that kind of wanted to cut him already. And if Andrew and Patrick were being authentic with me and they don't have like some secret deal, which I honestly am starting to believe they don't, I just think it was like too convenient for them to both find out that I had a final two with them and then blah, blah, blah. But I know they both don't want to go to the end with each other or even close. Which is why it kind of wouldn't surprise me if Rue became the replacement nominee tomorrow. That's like an offhand theory I have that I've had in the jury chat with Jess. But I think it's going to be I think it's going to be an unpredictable finish. But I also really am under this assumption that like there's like a 50-50 shot. It's either super unpredictable or the final three is Patrick, Andrew, Francisco. And it depends on how loyal they are. But I know they've had something since week 1. And now that there's 7 people left, soon to be 6, I'd be shocked if they did anything against each other if Patrick doesn't do it tomorrow. Because they'll also have other people they need to take out after this week. Let's say Lana's the replacement tomorrow, which is kind of my prediction. Lana or Gigi gets evicted. Then they still have Duncan to go after. They also still have Malcolm, who orchestrated that whole big move. And I don't think any of them are prioritizing Malcolm as much as they are prioritizing each other. So I'd say 50-50, as in it's going to be super unpredictable and the game's going to be malleable and a lot's going to change. Or the final 3 is going to be Andrew, Francisco, Patrick. But I would put equal odds on both.
All right, perfect. That's all the questions I have. I don't have any other production questions. So if you're good to wrap this up, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, I had a ton of fun. Thank you for having me. And
just I was just gonna say, for the record, you put money on someone like Francisco being at the end. I would also say you probably would have put money on the Steelers beating the Bengals, but we all see how that turns out too. So it happens. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I had a ton of fun playing. It was so much fun. I loved production. I loved the game. Honestly, everyone I played with, I'm just like a little salty right now. But that will probably change once I actually talk to them face to face, which is normally how it goes for me. They'll probably be like, "I'm so sorry," and like I'll take it because I like them all. That was one of the things I had so much fun talking to these people. And I had so much fun playing. I feel like I did so many dope things. And yeah, I would love to come back as like a renegade next season opposed to like playing an all-stars, because I don't think I'm an all-star. I just think I'm like a renegade. And I just want to play a renegade with just a bunch of loose rookie players. I won't throw any competitions this time. I threw almost all of them. That's the only question you didn't ask me. I threw the first one for sure when I was against Jess. I was adamantly trying to get questions wrong. I was like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God. The second one I tried really hard in because I was afraid of Amanda or Francisco winning HOH. The third one, when Gigi won, I threw the question to Gigi, and then she ended up winning. The fourth one I threw because I was tied to Anwar. The egg one I did not throw. I was so lock solid on that competition, and I lost my concentration, and I was pissed. And then I didn't throw on live night. I told myself I was going to, but I really tried in every single question. I didn't know the answer to the one I got wrong. I played in one veto. I came in dead last. The wheel never picked me. Fuck the wheel. Fuck vetoes. Fuck Jordan Rosenberg. And that's about all I have to say.
I can't think of a better way to wrap up Johnny's time on the season of Padlock. Johnny, thank you again for playing this season. You were entertaining from day one until the day, I would argue the day you got evicted was almost more entertaining than day one. I hate to say it, but it was hella entertaining.
That might make sense.
I would fully be glad to see you on another season. Maybe not one that I'm on though, even though we're definitely final two. But
I'll do whatever I can to convince you of it. I promise.
Yeah, whatever. I speak on the behalf of production when I say that we are more than thankful that you are now part of the Padlock family, and we can't wait to see what happens the rest of the season and who you vote for to win on finale night. So, with that, thank you everyone for watching, and I will be back next time to interview the next victim of the Chateau de Lock. So adios until then.
Bye.